Hello, and welcome to Virtual Investor Conferences. My name is Cecilia, and on behalf of OTC Markets, as well as our co-host, Skyline Corporate Communications Group, we're very pleased you have joined us for our next live presentation from Secure Private Data Limited. Before I introduce our speaker, a few points to note. Please submit your questions in the question box to the left of the slides. If you are interested in scheduling a meeting with Secure Private Data, please click on the Meetings tab found on the left navigation bar. You will be able to view the company's availability and submit a meeting request. On a final note, all today's presentations will be recorded and available for 24/7 replay. At this point, I'm very pleased to welcome Alain Guillay, founder, CEO, and chairman of Secure Private Data, which trades on the OTCQX Best Market under the symbol SWISF and on the CSE under the symbol SKUR. Welcome, Alain.
Thank you, Cecilia, and thanks everyone for attending. My name is Alain Guillay, and Secure Private Data is originally a Swiss company that spun off in the US and Canada. What we do is we essentially provide secure communications, such as email, messaging. We have a secure data backup, file share, and password management. The thing that's unique is that basically we're all hosted in Switzerland. We have our own infrastructure, and we operate in several countries. So we like to say that we're the leader in Swiss-hosted secure and private communication and data management. Our headquarters are in Toronto. We have our offices in New York, Vancouver, Switzerland, Geneva, and we have an office in Mexico City for our Latin American businesses. So I'm going to go right in and delve into what we do. We essentially protect people's data, consumers, businesses, and governments with our proprietary technologies, our secure email messenger. We have several products out there. We rebranded most of our products in 2020 and 2021 under the Secure brand. We also renamed the company, which used to be Globex Data, to Secure Private Data. So the main service, the main solution is Secure. It's a bundle of an email and messaging, and it sells for about $10 a month, and for businesses, it's $15 a month. We have Secure Mail, which is an email application. Secure Messenger is the messenger only. One of the things that's unique in what we do is that the mail part of it, a user can send an email to a non-secure person. The recipient would get an email from you, and it would tell them to click on a link and then to basically log in. Essentially, it logs them into our servers in Switzerland because none of the communication leaves the encrypted server environment. So you can send highly private and secure emails to anybody in the world. Their ISPs or Gmail or others would not be able to read the content, and the recipient can click, download as many attachments as you send. There's no limit, and they can use secure reply without having to buy our system. So the uniqueness is that a business can communicate with their client round trip in full privacy. We have the same thing with Secure Messenger. As we all know, most messengers, all of them require your phone number first to download. That creates a lot of issues with hacking. And essentially, they data mine you to no end. We don't do any data mining whatsoever. Also, if you have WhatsApp, for example, or Signal or Telegram, you need to have the other person have the same system. Well, in our system, what you can do is you can text someone, even if they don't have secure. They click on the link, and then they communicate in our private secure system. And then when you're done, you can delete the whole message. We're coming up with an archiving system for enterprises, finance companies, and governments so that locally your messages can be deleted completely. And if you work for a financial company, for example, you can comply with FINRA and archive all your employees' message for 7 to 10 years. Everybody can go later to look at secure.com and look at all the videos, the tutorials. So that's for that. The Secure Suite here it was actually our first product called Digital Safe. It's essentially a business enterprise version of a Dropbox, let's say. So it's a secure data backup, file share, it comes with an email, and also it has a password manager. This year, we're launching later in the year Secure VPN, a unique VPN hosted on our infrastructure only. And we will have Secure Voice and Secure Pro, which are voice and video conferencing communication. And next year, we're launching Secure Web, which is our own proprietary browser. So those are the products. Secure Messenger, and Secure Mail, and Secure Suite are all in production now. They're selling every day. Our big business is mostly the Secure Suite, the Secure Messenger and email, because it's more affordable. The Messenger is at $5 a month, and if you buy a bundle, it comes to only $3 a month. So that's what we do. Now, I need to tell you something about cyber hacking. So 94% of all the hacks happen through email. And I'm usually I have a show on Newsmax and Fox Business and Bloomberg every Sunday at 10 a.m. East Coast. I'm on Newsmax. We have a thing called the Secure Privacy Security Show. And also in the same hour between 10 to 11, I'm interviewed by Jane King, who's a very famous reporter out of NASDAQ and New York Stock Exchange in the New to the Street weekly show. We always talk about the hack of the week on the secure segment, and we try to give tips for people how to avoid being trapped into, basically hackers that data mine you, hack your email, and so forth. We always discuss about how do these big companies get hacked. The problem is that the email systems in use today globally have all been compromised. They're from big techs that have plenty of flaws and have been hacked many times. The source code is basically all out there. So a hacker can spy on a company for 6 months and then find out which employee has access to the database, what they do, etc. And that's why later on you hear about these massive hacks. Or sometimes it's an inside job. So now, email is very important. With our secure mail and secure send, secure reply system, you eliminate completely all sorts of email phishing. And that's a big thing. So, cybersecurity is a big business. It's costing the global economy about $6 trillion last year. It's going to cost about $10 trillion in 2025. It's a growing business, unfortunately. But fortunately for companies like us, there's no shortage of demand. The market size, talking about demand, I'm talking about just the US. We're talking about the kind of people that would buy our secure solution are probably security and privacy sensitive people and businesses, a lot of libertarians, people who don't want to be data mined and just give away their data for free. Obviously, like all these other big tech company data mine you, there's about 70 million individual people that we can address to. And out of the 30 million small businesses in the US, we can probably easily target about 10 to 20% of them. So it's a big business. The global cybersecurity service industry is about to reach close to $180 billion a year by 2027 in the next 5 years. And the global protection industry for cyber is 146 billion. So these are big numbers, big market, and that's what we're trying to get a piece of that action. So the average revenue per user for us, what we call the ARPU here, is about $15 blended. So if you look at all our product line, right now we're like $11, but we're launching other solution, the voice at $20, the conferencing at $50, and then we have our secure suite. So blended, we get about $15 average revenue per user. The fastest growing markets are Asia Pacific and the emerging markets of Latin America. We have a big partnership in Latin America with America Movil, the largest telco in the continent, owned by Carlos Slim, trading under the I think AMX in the New York Exchange. And we also have another reseller in Spain and all of Latin America. We're just starting now to sell in Colombia, and they all really love our secure messenger because it is really the only option for people if you don't want to use WhatsApp or Signal or any of these free applications that have been compromised so many times and have no privacy features. So the market is quite big. 70 million people, there's a lot we can get. We're launching business solutions already, and we're going to do a big promo in September, targeting those 3 to 6 million businesses we'll identify. So why does privacy matter? Because that's where your entire life resides, your data. We create more data every day as individuals. Businesses rely on data, they rely on communication. And there's an IBM study that came out a year ago, I think, that says that when a business is hacked and compromised, it costs a small business $4.5 to $6 million in real and unrealized gain. So, that's pretty damaging for small businesses. The big companies have low security, zero privacy, and now the trend is really to move away from these big companies and see if there's better solution. This is where we are unique and we're the leader in what we do, because we have a plethora of products that basically address most of the needs of a business and a consumer. So we're like the Swiss Army knife of privacy. We are from Switzerland. I'm from Switzerland as well. So Swiss Army knife of privacy and security, that's what we say we are. We have a proprietary technology. We do two things differently, among others. One of them is when we store data, we basically segregate each user independently, whereas the other companies, they have a big database and then they try to secure it. But then when it's compromised, essentially you have millions of people that are compromised. It's like a virus that attacks everyone without protection. Here we have each individual protected with multiple redundancies of encryption. And that's why we spend a lot of money on our machine, on our processing power. And that's the kind of stuff that the big companies won't do, because they're just interested in your data, because they make more money on your data than the $10-15 you may pay them. So that's important. How we store is very unique. We have our Helix technology, which is basically when a user connects to secure, whether it's a secure user or somebody that gets an email to click into and connect, essentially both parties connect to our central environment in Switzerland. We have multiple locations in Switzerland where we have our servers. There's multiple redundancies. We just spent $1 million to upgrade our servers. We have a capacity of getting 2 million messenger users and probably 500,000 email users. So, if we have more than that, which would be a great thing, of course, we can always expand and increase. The software is written in a way that is scalable to infinite. So we have full capacity. There is no latency from Switzerland. We have several network operators operating out of Switzerland. So there's no latency. Some people may ask if there's a delay in the communication because we're based in Switzerland. So the industries we cover, financial services and insurance. Obviously, we have government contacts, military and security. We're getting some of those interests in Latin America. Definitely very strong interest for the messenger. We have the service industries, healthcare, oil and gas, telecommunication. We have 2 telecom operators as partners. We're going to approach a third one. Telecom operators are very hard to deal with, but the advantage is that they have a lot of users. And once you're able to work with them, they basically do all the marketing, and they have all the marketing and client acquisition costs. And for that, they get a piece of the action. They get a percentage of revenues, essentially. Our roadmap in 2022 and beyond, well, we're now approaching Q3. So we developed the Secure for Business. Now we're going into, Q3. We're slowly going to do, we're going to have a B2B platform with Ingram Micro, a big company that we partnered with. We're going to offer our solution for resellers. They'll be able to log into our website, register as referral partners, could be small companies, web design companies, all the way to big resellers. They'll be able to sell a solution and get a percentage. We have new channels of marketing that we do. Today, we market mostly through influencers, direct to consumer and business. We're now testing other type of banner ads, and it looks like so far the banner ads that we have are reducing our cost of acquisition by 50%. So if this continues, we're going to push a lot more on that. And then Q4, we're launching on our VPN and probably our secure voice, and we're going to start to work on the video system as well. And then next year, we're looking at secure web, our browser, and a few other solutions like secure identity, etc. And we also are planning to work on an uplisting to NASDAQ. We have no guarantee of that, of course, but we started the process. And so far, it seems like it's moving well. Unique proposition, that's basically, why Switzerland, why us? Switzerland has the strictest data privacy laws in the world. We don't use any third-party hosting infrastructure. We have our own. That means that we're not subject to the US Cloud Act, which dictates that no matter where your data is, if you use a US infrastructure like AWS, Microsoft, or Google, your data can be subpoenaed. The only way you can subpoena our data is if there's a request to the Swiss federal government and a Swiss federal judge comes to us and say, block this person's account, they're criminals or whatever. But nobody else can come directly and subpoena anything because of the Swiss data privacy laws, which are the strictest in the globe. We have very unique technology. We have a mix of great product that serve the need of small and large businesses. We don't data mine you. I should say that's probably the first thing that nobody else does and that we do, is that we never data mine you. So that's a huge advantage. So we trade on the OTCQX, in Canada under SKUR, and in Frankfurt under GDT0. I think I'm ready now if you have any questions about this. I should say, in terms of the financials, we didn't talk about that. We have about $5 million in the bank, US, no debt, and today we have enough to reach, we have enough cash to make it until profitability. We have about 117 million shares outstanding. Management owns 35% of the company, and we have about $5 million worth of warrants that are coming due next year, US dollars. We can extend those if need be. And obviously, we have no debt as well. So it's very unique in that case. Our sales are increasing every quarter, and we believe that we will reach operating profitability inside of 6 to 9 months. Thank you for your patience, and now I'm going to look at any questions that may be there. So there's a question from, I guess, Chip Russo. Can you discuss sales client acquisition? Do you have a direct sales force? We don't have a direct sales force, which is great. Our sales force are influencers on YouTube, etc. And now it's going to be basically banner ads. We do have resellers. So the telecom operator or Micronet, which is a large cybersecurity reseller in Latin and Central and Latin America, those guys are reseller for us. But we basically sell directly through, digital marketing. We are now testing a little bit more of these other digital marketing. We also have a big branding effort we did last year into this year. For those of you guys who are in New York, where we have a huge electronic billboard in Times Square and on top of the NASDAQ building and on 42nd Street. And we also have our TV show every week. So those bring a lot of users and awareness about our company as a public company as well. But basically, now I realize that most of our users are coming from banners slowly. So hopefully that answers your question. Jose Alvarez, do you develop your suite of application in-house or via acquisition? That's a great question. Everything is in-house. And I should say all the developers are also owners of the company. They are shareholders. They have a vested interest, and we've been working together for 15 years because our company in Switzerland started in 2007. So it's been around for a while, and it functions well in Switzerland. So now we do everything in-house, and we don't plan any acquisition because the only thing that makes sense in an acquisition is that if your cost of acquisition per customer is less than what you're doing on your own. So if we acquire a company, it would purely be for their user base. So if a company has, let's say, 10,000 customers, and it costs us, let's say, less than $100 per client to buy them, knowing that they will basically buy our product, yes, it could make sense. But acquisitions in our business don't make too much sense the way we are structured, because our technology is extremely unique. Our infrastructure is our own, and we spent over a decade developing the solution. So it would be a very hard thing to acquire a company. We always look at if an acquisition makes sense for shareholders or not. I'm the largest shareholder as well of the company. Jessica Diaz, what is a typical scale? Are clients licensing multiple products from your suite? That's a really good question too. Yes, actually right now, because we're pushing the secure solution, which has the email and messaging, a lot of people just buy secure because it's just so cheap, right? It's $10 a month. And if you buy yearly, it's $100 for the whole year. So you get 2 months for free. Slowly, as we develop Secure Suite next year and do a bunch of upgrades to the enterprise, then we could see probably Secure Suite, which has the email and also the messenger. Now, once we launch voice and VPN and video conferencing, we definitely see bundles with a VPN and a regular email. So yes, there's a lot of cross selling that happens automatically via the bundles that we offer. How sticky? So Jessica Diaz also, how sticky are your services and renewal rates? So it's very sticky because you can also migrate your existing email to us. And if you have a business already with your own domain, you can also migrate that to us seamlessly. So once you have your email with a company, typically that has these kind of privacy feature and is really not more expensive than anything else, and you do get 100 gigabyte per email account, I should mention. But I encourage everyone to go to secure.com, sekur.com, and check it out. So yes, it's very sticky. Our churn rate when we first started last year in late July was, double digit, obviously, because people didn't know how to use it. They got frustrated with the messenger because the messenger doesn't data mine your address book. We had different type of features, but now our churn rate is 5%. So 5% is very low. So it's very sticky, and we're very happy with it. It's been going down every quarter, the churn rate. So I think we're going to hover around, the lowest probably might be 3%, but 5% is a low churn rate. Also, okay, so Bob Arnold, and just going back, the renewal rate is automatic, so only 5-6% of people cancel. Bob Arnold, you have a large addressable market. Will you need additional capital to expand your business? Another really good question. So right now, what we're doing is with a $5 million that we have, this whole summer, we call it our testing period, where we're refining the cost of acquisition, the fine-tuning the banner, the videos. We're going to do a lot more on our website, improve a few things, and we're going to test at small scale, spending $10,000 on a campaign. And then after that, we really will not need, if we want to address 10 million people, sure, it depends on the speed, but we can move slowly so that we don't need more capital, and reach profitability, in the next, whatever. We have operational profitability, which is 6 months from now, which means that if we don't spend anything on marketing, we're profitable every month. But obviously we will spend on client acquisition. So if we grow organically like that, we should be profitable in the next 18 months, including spending heavily on client acquisition. So we don't need more capital, but more capital is always welcome because you can accelerate the growth. Because once you know your cost of acquisition, it's just you scale up. There's certainly plenty of websites and people in the US alone, not to mention the other countries that can give us that. And this is why we will be looking at eventually an uplisting. We've had extremely favorable and verbally firm commitments for that. If there's an uplisting, We are very much confident that we're going to get quite a sizable amount of money. So because people can relate to what we do and they love it, and it's a recurring revenue and a company with no debt and $5 million. So right now, if we never get a penny because the market is not the best, we're okay. We can survive and we can grow without additional funding whatsoever. So hopefully that answers. If somebody gives us more money in favorable condition, obviously we'll take a look and take it if the market is better, basically, if it's worth it for us to take that money. We also don't take any debt or convertible warrants, so we have no toxic funding whatsoever. We always have refused that. So Jim O'Neill, can you discuss your IP portfolio and protection? So the intellectual property it was started in Switzerland. We did a perpetual licensing to secure private data in perpetuity. We have got maybe 15 different trademarks. We don't have patents because if you develop something in open source, which we don't, you need to do the GDL license. So basically, you need to open up all your coding if you use an open source hard code, and then that's when you do your intellectual property and you protect it. Obviously, we don't want to publish the code, so we don't do any open source. The only thing we do is we do use an API connection to a template from a company called Roundcube, which is an email system. But basically, we have reconfigured everything completely, and the way we do it, basically, it technically means we're not using open source. It's just some kind of template, but we've changed that completely, and everything else hosted with us. The messenger, the other stuff, it's not open source. If we wanted to develop things quickly, we could have used open source. It would have been a lot cheaper, but then you have to deploy and you have to basically publish your code. So we don't want to do that. Jim, okay, I think that's it so far. Any other question? I only see Jim O'Neill. That's the last question. I guess if there's no question, I think we're almost, our 30 minutes are up. So I encourage everybody to go to secureprivatedata.com, which is our corporate site. There's a FRC research paper with a target of about 95 cents US on the stock. You can go to secure.com to check our product. You can also contact us if you have direct questions. And I encourage everybody to take a look at the solution, the products as well. And I think we have about a minute and a half left. If anybody has any other question, I think I've addressed everybody's question. Yes. You have another minute if you have any other question. One thing I should mention while we still have a minute is that we see a big uptick in our client buying, basically more clients, even though there's a recession. There's no recession when it comes to privacy and cybersecurity. People are much more aware now that their data is mined. There's hacking every day. The media does a good job at explaining that and telling everyone. And we have seen our user base increase every month and our sales increase every quarter. So this is a very encouraging thing because it's a business that I'm going to say is pretty much recession proof. And I think we have 15 seconds left. If there's no more question, thanks for watching this. And I hope to count you as shareholders and subscribers of Secure. I'll throw in a promo code Secure15. You get 15% off Secure for a year if you subscribe. SEKUR15. Thanks everyone for watching.